Now we will move on to sustainable development goals. Now what are sustainable development goals? Sustainable development has three major components as we discussed earlier. Number one is economy, number two is environment, and number three is social inclusion, means the social qualities or social impacts of a human being. Now it seeks to ensure economic development while protecting environment through participation of societies and communities. The United Nations Sustainable Development Summit 2015 has set 17 specific goals towards achieving sustainable development, which are summarized in a diagram. So, what is their first goal? That there should be no poverty. It means all the resources should be distributed equally between all the members of a nation or the universe. Number two, zero hunger. This is very important as a lot of people are sleeping hungry in the night, even they don't have food at the daytime. So, it is sustainable development that it owes the resources to O, as the nature produces, environment produces food, so there is right of each and everyone on the food. Good health and well-being. Everybody should be in good health and good take care of themselves. Quality education. Friends, this is very important because this literacy or education leads to the development of a country as one. Education is very important. Gender equality, which is a major problem in our country in past so many days. Gender equality, it means if we are giving one gender the rights to do something, then the other gender should have equal rights. Now, clear water and sanitation means we should be hygienic enough to have good health, because if we have good health, then we can have quality education, we have studied, and we can save our resources. Next is resources for clear energy, means sun. Sun provides us solar energy. We can absorb it for the work of electricity, which in turn saves a lot of water, lot of machinery, lot of inhuman activities which can take place. Decent work and economic growth. Now friends, decent work and economic growth means that we have to take care of certain things while growing economically, such as we don't have to take revenge with the environment. Okay, so we don't have to cut down more trees. We have to do these taking into consideration that what is sustainable environment. Sustainable environment means, or development means, development of today taking in consideration the future. Next is industry innovation and infrastructure. Now, industry innovation and infrastructure means industries have to be grown. Now, innovation means innovative methods are to be implemented so that others can also be benefited with that, right? Now, the next thing is reduced inequalities. Now, if we will give equal values to everyone, then it will reduce inequalities. Like in India, I will talk about the caste system, I will talk about the female-male gender system. There are so many things which will be prevailing or which were prevailing. Right now, we are moving towards as women's empowerment and all other resources. Now, number 11 is sustainable cities and communities. Means every citizen has to be aware about its environment, that yes, it is to be done, it is not to be done. Okay, now 12, responsible consumption and production. We must consume only that which we require and produce only that is required in the, we don't have to just put trees under process that we have to make paper every time. No, we don't have to. Climate action, we have to make sure that we do not just make anger our environment, our nature, because climate change or global warming is equally important for us. 14th is life below water, means the aquaterians which are living below water, like fishes. What chemical industries are doing these days, they are just pouring their chemicals into the rivers, into the oceans, into the ponds, due to which aquatic life is aquatic life is at the zero position. Now, life on land means the vegetation, the birds, the animals, the trees that are living on the uh, earth. Peace and justice, strong institutions means we should be peaceful and give justice to each and every living being on this earth. Partnership for the goals after forgetting their enemies. We have two different countries, different people, different cultures, different castes, different creeds have to merge themselves for achieving these sustainable goals. So 17 goals are no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, natural resources, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, like sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life before water, life on land, peace and justice, strong institutions, partnership from the goals. Now let me move further. Now problems related to sustainable development. What are the problems that we deal while making a sustainable development? The goals of the sustainable development given above gives a fair idea about the main problems and challenges that are halting the growth of sustainable practices around the world. As sustainable development tries to manage factors in three broad areas: economy, society and environment. These are the three areas always we take when we are talking about a sustainable development. The problems can also be viewed from these broad areas. The problems to sustain development can be identified as poverty, hunger, exclusion. Are poverty, hunger and exclusion, unemployment, lack of social justice, war and conflicts, building peaceful and inclusive societies, building strong institutions of governance, and supporting the rule of law means the protocol which is made for one, for the country or for the universe or for the world should be same for all. And the environmental pollution, degradation of natural resources, loss of biodiversity and climatic changes. Oh, look at all these problems. If these problems continue to grow, then there should be no life on the earth. Now, while these are the problems that sustainable development faces, there are two major problems that prevent. अब हमने पढ़ा कि पहले प्रॉब्लम्स क्या आ रही हैं, अब हम पढ़ेंगे कि जो रोक रहा है हमें. फर्स्ट, हाई कॉस्ट ऑफ सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स. Now, not everyone is capable of investing a lot of money or cost to the development projects because country has limited resources. Using sustainable methods and materials are expensive, while long-term cost of sustainability does prove to be less expensive than the traditional development. Lack of education and awareness. Now, let's friends, we are not aware of the fact that these things will be degraded or will not be. There is no generally accepted need for sustainable development. Different countries, states, cities, societies and individuals have different view, perspective of seeing sustainable development. It will take years to sustain an effort and educate to make everyone aware need of it. So it is our prime goal to educate everyone on the perspective of sustainable development. Companies and investors often find it difficult to see the importance of sustainable projects where they cost more to initiate. Companies and investors often find it difficult to see the importance of sustainable projects where they cost more to initiate. Means cost, higher cost, lower costs are a factor. When the goal is to make money in the short term, it can be very difficult to generate a long-term vision. Now, achieving sustainable goals, let me show some points. First one is reducing excessive use of resources and enhancing resource conservation. Means we limit our usage of resources and enhance our conservation of resources. Recycling and use of waste materials. This is very important. Now, there are 3 R's: reduce, recycle and reuse. So we must use them. It means recycle and reuse, scientific management of renewable resources, especially bioresources. We should plant more and more trees. Green grassy patches to be interspread between concrete buildings. It means there are some parks, there are some grass between buildings or a small loan in your home so that environment should be sustained. So using more environment friendly material or biodegradable materials. The polythenes or this called polybags are the examples that government has banned. Use of technologies which are environment friendly and based on the effective use of resources. So what are the points? We can reduce excessive use of resources and enhance resource conservation. Recycle and reuse of waste materials, planting more trees, green grassy patches to be placed between concrete buildings, using more environment friendly material or biodegradable material, use of technologies which can environment friendly. Now it is the duty of a nation or of a society to make it possible. Now I will come to the next point called green economy. Now green economy is one that provides economic development while making sure that the environment is protected. Now what is green economy? Green economy is one that promotes economic development while making sure the environment is protected. In a green economy, growth is in employment and income are driven by public and private investments. High use of renewable energy. We should use those energy more and more which are renewable in nature. Green buildings are those that cause minimum damage to the environment. Now, I have a look at the building in some country. They have grown plants all over the building. So it is an important, good example we can take. Efficient and sustainable transport system. A green economy must have an efficient and sustainable public transport system. It should promote the use of cycles, carpools, means everybody should not go with his own car. We can pull the carpools. In Delhi, we have this is promoted by odd even number. Public vehicles driven by green fuels such as CNGs in buses. Sustainable industry which reduce, reuse and recycle. It has an efficient waste disposable system that causes no damage to the environment. Sustainable agriculture, production of those crops that deals with the natural resources without damaging the environment. Crop rotation, organic farming, use of biofertilizers with crop farming are some examples of sustainable practices. Next is efficient water and waste management, means water is not to be waste, it is to be reserved, reduce, reuse and recycle. Efficient management of real resources. Land is used for farming, forest, factories, homes, road, etc. and everything we are using lands. So in a green economy, land is used in such a way that it meets the requirement of people without causing damaging to the environment. Now creating green jobs. Now what are green jobs or green collared jobs? Are the jobs that contribute sustainably to preserve or restoring the natural environment, such as biologists, natural scientists, recyclers. This includes jobs that helps to protect ecosystem and biodiversity. Now, these are the examples of some green jobs I have given you. Now, how to develop green skills? Green skills or green sustainability are the technical skills, knowledge, values, and attitudes needed in the workforce and individuals to develop and support green economy. Means it is the skills, the knowledge, the education which we put to produce a sustained environment. Now there are various sectors. Now agriculture. In agriculture, what we can do? Grow our own vegetables in kitchen gardens, eat seasonal and locally grown food. Energy, we don't have to waste electricity, fuel, coal, etc. Now construction. In construction, designing energy efficient or green buildings that save electricity and water using local construction materials. If on large scale, try to avoid pollution. Fisheries, create awareness about the harmful consequences of overfishing. Educating people about sustainable practices. Never buy endangered fishes. Industries make items according to what customers prefer, not to make it in very bulk that it should be overburdened. Teach green skills to the employee. Now forestry, save and recycle paper to protect trees. Collect honey without removing the beehives. While traveling, travel in groups. Limited water, public transports, energy use and avoid wastage. Never litter around, never damage or deface historical monuments. Instead of personal vehicles, use public vehicles, walk or cycle. Water management, use water wisely, get leak taps and fix them. Now conclusion is we need to have a sustainable environment if we want to survive for long. Now these are the questions that you have to show me.